we were able to increase their acceptance rate and conversion on that flow with 5%. And 5% might not seem like a lot, but when you think about the money that you spend and how much you pay for every click through affiliation, improving that return on investment with 5% is extremely important for immersion tests.
Hi, I'm Ashley Lang, CEO of Pragmatic Solutions, and welcome to another episode of Connected, where we feature many of the top tier, best in breed connected vendors to our Pragmatic Solutions PAM platform and some of the most important service providers to the industry. And today is a special day. We're really excited to be talking with Johan Strand from Zimpler, a premium partner for us and many of our licensees, and a company that I think our audience for Connected will be very keen to hear about. Johan, welcome.
Thank you, Ashley. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Yeah, a pleasure for us to have you too. I mean, we have a long-standing relationship with Zimpler, and as I said at the opening there, a key supplier for several of our customers. And I think there's a story to be told and probably some case studies to look at of how what you guys do for those clients could be a great opportunity for other licensees in our network or operators generally in the industry on any platform. So can you introduce your company for those that aren't familiar with Zimpler? Tell us what you do.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to. So Zimpler is, I guess, the short pitch is that Zimpler is a alternative payment method focusing on bank payments, right? I think that the longer story is that Zimpler has been around for quite some time, actually. Zimpler was founded in 2012 in Stockholm, Sweden. And the first idea that was behind Zimpler was a kind of a Klarna for online services. Then as all startups, we have pivoted and we have changed our approach. And since 2020, we're 100% focused on account to account and bank payments. And specifically, we're focusing on regulated industries. So, I mean, financial services, online gambling, etc. So, I mean, the space that we're in and where we're partnering with you guys at Pragmatic, that's really the bread and butter for our organization and where our product provides the most values. And today we're focused on the Nordic region, where we have been for the longest period of time. We cover the entire Eurozone when it comes to our payout product. And since a year back, we're also active in the very, very hyped up Brazilian market, which is a really fun space to be in at the moment. So I think that's the short background of Zimpler.
No, amazing business. For those that aren't aware, for those that are not current customers of your product, how could you describe how your solution really creates value for these operators? What sort of impact do you have on a connected partner operator business?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, bank payments as such has really grown over the last couple of years, but I think the majority of the countries, we still don't see that bank payments are dominating yet. We think the market is moving in that direction. If you look at the Nordics, where we are strong, you don't even see card payments today, or it's less than 5% of the payments being made. So one of the benefits of bank payments for a regulated industry such as online gambling is that you can connect the number of steps in a seamless flow, and by that reduce manpower in operations, but ultimately be able to increase conversion and acceptance rate and allow your end users to deposit money onto the gambling account much faster and more seamless, or to take their winnings out instantly. So I think what we have seen in the Nordics, or if you look at Sweden, where we are based, you have two different payment methods that dominates the market. You have our account-to-account product, and you have a local payment method called Swish. Both of those products are actually based on the end user's bank accounts. So the willingness to make a payment from the bank account has really grown over the last couple of years, and you realize that all you need is your mobile phone. And by making a payment using an account-to-account rail, you can share KYC information and more data seamlessly. So I think that the starting movement for this was when one of our competitors launched something they call Pay and Play. Our corresponding product is Zimpler Go, where you actually can bundle information around the end user together with the payment. So you reduce the number of steps. So you increase the speed of how easy is to make a transaction to your site. And also on the operations side, your compliance team will have an easier job when you can get that data instantly together with the payment. So I think it has served the online gambling industry very well. This move into open banking and account-based payments where you can connect more information with the payment. And if we look a bit ahead into the future, I think it's becoming more and more relevant. I think when you look at markets that have already become regulated or are on their way to become regulated, the demands from the regulators are not going down, vice versa, they're going up, right? So the need to provide affordability check, more understandings, do controls. And at the same time, regulators are afraid that, okay, if we tamper too much with the user experience and make it too difficult for operators, they will push traffic to the gray or black markets. And there, I think open banking and account to account has a big role to play into making these checks in the background. And by that, make the UX more easy, but still allow for our merchants to be compliant with local regulations. So I think that's what we do. So in a nutshell, we provide fast and secure payments bundled with KYC information and other data points around your end users.
So I think that's clear from an onboarding and fluidity of transaction processing perspective, but it must also have a positive impact on minimizing fraud and risk.
For sure, I think this is a key thing. It's very interesting. When we started to look into bank payments, this was in 2017. There were two countries in the world that had regulations in place for what's now called open banking or account-to-account based payments. Today, just 7 years later, 74% of the global GDP is covered by open banking regulations. So the regulatory transformation here has been quite fast if you think about how slow regulations normally moves. And with that change, the ability for us to actually help our operators to streamline their operations have become massive, I would say. So from a product perspective, I think one of the biggest challenges online over the last couple of years, where you see that online in all segments, in all industries, have just started to grow faster and faster. The percentage of fraud or fraudulent transaction have actually grown faster when you look at the card rails. While for us as an account-to-account provider, you have the same security as you have with your bank account, right? So we have, minimal, if not zero, fraud on our product, which of course that brings a lot of value. Because it's not always only the amount of fraud, right? It's the whole operation around it that you need to handle that. There's a lot of work that needs to be put in on those card rails.
Peace of mind.
For sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned your beginnings in the Nordic markets and your expansion into Brazil, but I suppose you see opportunities for Zimpler to grow in relevance in any regulated market. So an operator that establishes a relationship with you today for any one of those markets may in future expand that relationship as they go into other locally regulated markets. Would that be correct?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we continue to grow all the time and cover more and more geographies. I think if you look at South America, for example, Brazil is the first market we're going into, but as well, Colombia, regulated market, opening up their open banking regulations this year, actually planning for H2 this year. We have Peru coming up with their regulations around open banking, also regulated iGaming markets. So we are constantly expanding into new geographies, and we look at mainly on geographies where we see that merchants have problems today that we can actually solve for them.
And do you have a recent success story with a particular operator or a territory that is a good example of this in action?
Yeah, for sure. I can give you a couple of examples because I think it's very interesting the direction that the online gambling industry connected with payments are going. So I think if you look at Sweden, for example, I mentioned that there are two main payment methods, account to account and Swish. And by the way, we handle them both. So we manage Swish transaction on behalf of our merchants, and we have our own account to account product, right? So what does that mean from a merchant perspective? Well, it means that you can build a very, very small, slim, effective organization that just needs one integration that handles your 100% of your payment need for a market, 100% of your KYC and compliance information needs on that market, and you can grow really, really fast. So, I mean, we can see merchants that we are working with that have decided to say, okay, we're going to enter the Swedish market. We're going to do this super efficient. So we're competing against, maybe incumbents in the market that have built, big payments team, big compliance team, etc. Okay, we're going to do this super efficient. We're going to work with Zimpler and we're going to take that market. And we're seeing them, take 3-4% share of the total market in just 12 months time. So that's the potential that you have when you can work with a single supplier in the market. So that's one example. And another example. And there, I'm thinking about our merchants and how we can work with our merchants, and this is super important for us. So we had a merchant coming to us and saying that we have a problem. We're driving a lot of traffic to our sites through affiliation and also in-app affiliation. So if you're on a social media app and you have affiliations through that app, then normally what happens, an end user click on that link and you get redirected within that app flow, and that's always troublesome. You can relate, like even if you're going to buy a new shirt and you see an ad on Instagram and you click on that shirt and you get a browser in Instagram app, and it's terrible to make that payment, etc. So they had a huge problem with this, and this was where 70% of their marketing spend went, and they saw that the conversion and acceptance rate here within this flow is terrible. Can you help us? And we started to work on that, and the team really, really focused on that for 3 to 4 weeks, and we were able to increase their acceptance rate and conversion on that flow with 5%. And 5% might not seem like a lot, but when you think about the money that you spend and how much you pay for every click to affiliation, improving that return on investment with 5% is extremely important for a merchant house.
It can be entirely what is the difference between that affiliate paying attention to you versus a competitor is that 5% better conversion rate or higher yield from their promotional activity. So, I mean, every single digit points matter in this business, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is. And I think that's something that we're extremely proud at Zimpler. Our merchants and our partners, that's what's important for us. So whenever we can help them solve a problem, in general, of course, we're improving our product, we're going into new markets and et cetera, et cetera. But when a merchant comes and says, hey, we're doing this, we have this problem, can you help us fix this? No one else is solving this problem, and we managed to come up with a solution within a couple of weeks. I think that's something that we're extremely proud of, our way of working with our merchants in that way.
Well, Johan, that's a good segue into my next question, which is I know from the operators that we have that use your services, they're very loyal and very grateful for the services that you guys provide. What's your approach or what's your strategy to building strong customer relationships? I mean, it sounds like you are very responsive and creative. I mean, I think it's interesting to think of, from an operator perspective, inviting a payment provider to look at a conversion journey and help collaborate in ways to improve the funnel result. What is this just part of the model that you put to your teams to say we're a solution focused organization, or to what do you attribute your partnership success?
Things like this, I think one is based in our core strategy, right? That we're not focusing on winning all segments in the world with our account-to-account product. So we have competitors out there that are focusing on, traditional e-commerce or online, offline, etc. I mean, we're focused on regulated industries for online payments. That's all that we do. And out of those segments, the online gambling segment is an extremely important part for us. So that's number one, that this is important. This is what we do. This is what we live for. The second thing is, and this is something that we invested quite a lot in, is our technical platform. So it's very modular. We can move very, very quick, and we can actually I mean, because we are so focused on a few segments, we don't need to think about every single change. Okay, how could that potentially affect the flow for a merchant in
Right.
segment A, B, or C, right?
Right.
So that means that we can move very, very quick. And the last part of it is, I think, where you started the question. For us, I mean, a customer is not a customer. A customer needs to be a partner, and we need to have that mindset throughout the organization. That, I mean, we are only as good as our partners are. So when we do, for example, case studies, we don't necessarily lift, okay, how good is our product? We lift, look at how good it went for this merchant
Mm.
or our partner here. They won in the market. I mean, it's more important that our customers win in the market that we highlight our product. And of course, can our product help them win in the market? Yeah, happy days. But I think the result and the performance of our merchants, it speaks for itself. And if we focus on in allowing them to win, we will win. And of course, that's the mindset, and you need to work on that all the time when you build a company, right? To put the customer in focus. It's very easy to get I think everyone that has been running or managing a business know that it's easy to get, into a way of being just introspective and not looking outwards. But I think you need to push yourself every single day to actually go to your customers, go to your partners and say, hey, how can we make you better?
Yeah,
And I
I mean,
think that's
it's
the
great to
winning
be proud of
concept.
your product as we both are, but if it's not reflected in the success that it's driving your partners, um, it's a false reality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, for
and
sure. And I mean, from our perspective, when I joined Zimpler, this is now 9 years ago, we had a CEO at the time that said like the best thing for our product is this if the end user doesn't know we're there. So,
right.
I mean, payments is boring. No one goes to
Yeah,
a gambling site to enjoy a beautiful payment experience. That's not what you're
yeah.
doing there. You want to have fun, you want to be entertained, you want to, do something for an hour or two, and then you go back to your life. And if you don't even notice that you made a payment or supplied your KYC information, I think that's the best grade that we can get.
So Johan, my last question I was going to ask you is what sets you apart from your competition, but you'd probably say the less that they notice us, the better. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's
but there's
a good.
surely you're focused on it is a competitive space that you operate in, and you have mentioned that there are other competitors in this space. So that's a challenge that many of our partners ask us is how do we differentiate between similar supplier or what appear to be similar suppliers for similar services. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a good point for us to close on. What should the audience be thinking about when they think of Zimpler as a differentiator from others in the payment space?
No, for sure. So I think a couple of things worth worth mentioning there. I think number one is so Simpler has since day one been laser focused on our product performance. When I talk about end user shouldn't notice us, I really mean it. I mean it's this speed and number of steps through a payment journey should be it should be as fast and as few as possible. And that's something that we're laser focused on. And I think the Nordic region has probably come the farthest when it comes to user experience within payments. I think it's probably one of the most competitive spaces in Europe today when it comes to user experience. And still here, every single percentage when it comes to conversion matters. And we're laser focused on it. So we're very happy that when we measure against our competitors in our core markets, our products are the fastest in all markets that we focus on. So that's something that we're really proud about. The second thing is that we're extremely focused at being the best in our markets. So instead of building a product that cover 80 markets and we're okay in all, we're going to be best in the markets where we operate. And I think
Yeah.
here, probably if you look at the wider European landscape, I think that the merchants operating in the Nordics has really learned this over the last couple of years. While in Europe, we still see that, okay, I might integrate with this, account-to-account provider because it's just 5% of my checkout in Germany or Italy. And it's better to have, I cover 10 countries and have an okay conversion. But as the usage of open banking account to account goes up, you really need to have the best solution for that market. And then being okay, but wide distribution, that's not the game that we're playing. So if you go into a market where we are live, then I can guarantee you that we will have the best product, but we might not support you in the most markets. So I think we're very focused on winning in our market. So that means that we normally work with the merchants that are really focused on our markets. So if you're a merchant that have 0.5% of your volumes in the market where we operate, well, maybe we're currently not the best fit for you. But if you're really zoomed in on Brazil or Sweden or Finland or Estonia or any of the markets where we are operating, I can guarantee you that we will have the best product experience for you. So that's how we think about our product and our position in the market.
Well, Johan, I could tell you from our experience that focus that you have seems to be working. And in this industry, it's also really important. I think payments is one area of the industry where there's often vendors that have a foot in the gaming industry as one of the verticals or sectors that they service, but they also service e-commerce more broadly or other sectors. And that may or may not have an impact on their commitment to this industry, but it would no doubt have an impact on their depth of knowledge. And you guys have a very deep knowledge of the dynamics that drive success in this business. And we're really grateful to be working with you. And I said that at the top, and I'll say it again. If someone is a Pragmatic Solutions platform licensee, Zimpler is pre-integrated and already active with several of our customers, and activating Zimpler is relatively easy. You have to benefit from that existing integration. If you're not on the Pragmatic Solutions platform and there wasn't enough great reason to be already, well, the fact that Zimpler is integrated just ups the ante a bit of what we can bring to the table jointly through our partnership with Zimpler. And obviously, again, Zimpler is available more widely beyond just Pragmatic Solutions. Johan, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for taking part in Connected. And we look forward to talking with you next time and seeing you expand your network through participation with Pragmatic Solutions.
Ashley, it's been great being on, and thank you so much. And thank you to Pragmatic for a great partnership over the years. And from Zimpler side, we look forward to continued cooperations.
Great stuff. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining for another episode of Connected. Tune in for more information about great connected partners to our platform. Have a great day.